I've debated whether or not to share this, but maybe getting it off my chest will help. My name is Jake. I'm a 34-year-old software developer, and I've been married to my wife, Emily, for 6 years. Overall, we were what people might call the perfect couple. At least, that's what everyone thought. Friends, family, even random people would comment on how good we seemed together. We clicked in so many ways, but in retrospect, I guess the cracks were there if I had just been paying closer attention. Emily always had a bit of a playful side. She loved to joke around, often crossing the line into sarcasm. While it sometimes rubbed me the wrong way, I accepted it as a part of her charm. But over the past several months, things started to shift. I'd come home from work to find her often glued to her phone, her expression changing when I walked in. A few times, she'd been overly secretive about who she was texting, but I brushed it off. She probably just doesn't want to disturb me after a long day, I told myself. One Thursday evening, I had been staying late at work preparing for a big presentation. I didn't get home until 8, hungry and exhausted. Pulling up to our house, I noticed the lights were out. Our neighbor, Mike, had recently taken up grilling, often inviting Emily over to join him for weekend cookouts. In my mind, it was nothing more than a friendly neighborhood bond. But that night, something felt different about all this. As I entered the house, I sensed an unusual chill. When I found Emily in our bedroom under the dim light of a lamp, she jumped slightly. Her phone slid off the bed and landed screen down. "Hey, you startled me. I thought you were working late," she said, hastily stuffing her phone into the drawer of the nightstand. "Yeah, well, they asked me to wrap up early, so here I am," I replied with a grin, trying to brush off the unease that gnawed at me. I assumed she'd just been watching a show or keeping herself entertained while I was gone. But then I noticed a few minor things that evening. The smell of perfume lingered in the air, one I didn't recognize. Later, when we went to bed, I caught her texting yet again. "Are you still talking to someone?" I asked, half jesting, but she quickly snapped back. "Why do you care?" That pierced through me. I tried to shrug it off, but the tension felt palpable. A couple of days later, everything escalated. I left my phone on the kitchen table when I ran out for a quick grocery run. When I returned, I found Emily sitting on the couch, her fingers frozen over my screen. I leaned closer and caught a glimpse of her expression. She looked startled and guilty. "What's going on?" I asked, my heart racing. "Oh, nothing. Just saw your messages," she stammered, leaning back awkwardly. "Messages? What messages?" Before I could process it, she blurted out, "It's just your work stuff. Nothing important." The defensive tone in her voice sent alarms ringing in my head, but I felt paralyzed, unsure of how to respond. Then came the dreaded Saturday afternoon. I decided to text her just to see how her day was going since she said she was having lunch with a friend. I got no response for hours. By 3 o'clock, my anxiety kicked into high gear. With nothing else to do, I decided to drive to the cafe she claimed to be at. As I crossed over the hill toward the cafe, I caught sight of her car parked right outside our neighbor's place. My heart sank, blood rushing in my ears. I pulled over, hesitating in front of the cafe, pure dread washing over me. I felt like it was the slowest walk of my life as I headed toward the patio. Fortunately, it was mostly empty, and I spotted Emily laughing with Mike like they were in an intimate movie scene. His hand rested on her knee. My gut churned and I froze. In that moment, something deep within me broke. I felt like I had been sucker punched in the stomach, forcing me to staunchly hold my breath. I turned away, my heart racing. How had I been so blind? As I stepped back into my car, everything around me blurred. I drove back home, angry tears stinging my eyes. I felt betrayed, confused. Was this a dream? Just as I reached my front porch, I heard a voice behind me. It was Mike. He waltzed up the sidewalk, obliviously cheerful. "Hey, Jake, just saw Emily, she looked happy," he called out. My blood boiled. I managed a curt nod, then stepped inside the house, slamming the door behind me. I paced the living room, my mind spinning with thoughts as I processed what I had just witnessed. Finally, I felt a rage building like a tidal wave. When Emily arrived home a short while later, everything exploded. She breezed in, laughter still laced in her voice. "Hey, babe, you'll never believe what we—" "Stop," I cut her off, the weight of betrayal thick in the air. "You and Mike. What's going on?" Her face dropped, surprise morphing into apprehension. "What are you talking about? I saw you, at the cafe, laughing, touching." My heart drummed in my ears, arms crossed tightly. Her demeanor shifted suddenly, venomous defensiveness seeping into her tone. "You're being ridiculous, Jake. We're just friends. He was helping me with a project." "Helping you with a project? Is that why you were giggling like school kids?" My anger sizzled beneath the surface, but I tried to stay calm. "No, she stammered, her eyes darting as if searching for the right words. "You're paranoid. I thought you trusted me." "Trust? How can I trust you after that? It looked like a date." Her voice grew sharper. "It wasn't a date, for Christ's sake. Get a grip. Can't I have friends without it being a big deal? Not if your friend is my neighbor, and not if you're hiding everything from me." I yelled, frustration spilling over. "No one is hiding anything," she shot back, her own fuse burning short. "Except you know the truth," I whispered, my voice breaking slightly. For a moment we glared at each other in a tense standoff. I could feel my heart pounding, anxiety rippling in my chest. Was everything we built just a facade, or was there some part of her still there? "That's it, isn't it? You want to throw everything away just like that," she spat. "Throw it away. You're the one betraying us. You don't get to play the victim here, Emily." I felt as though I was shouting into a void, lost in my pain. After we yelled our points, silence reigned for a moment, charged with heat and anger. The room felt stagnant. I felt trapped in my own home where I was supposed to feel safe. "So, what are you going to do?" she finally said, a smirk creeping in as if the confrontation was entertaining for her. "Honestly, I don't know. I think I should leave. I need to think." Her expression darkened. "You'll regret it, Jake. You're overreacting." And just like that, I grabbed my keys and headed out. I drove for what felt like hours aimlessly around town, my mind a storm of emotions. Every turn I took seemed more consequential than the last. Anger flickered, mixed with a haunting sense of sorrow. Eventually, I stopped at a park nearby. The trees around me, solid and steady, reminded me of life's consistency, something I desperately needed in that moment. I stared out at the lake, my heart still raging. I could see couples laughing, kids playing, families enjoying themselves. And yet, I felt so isolated in my pain. Time slipped by. My phone buzzed relentlessly, notifications from Emily flooding my screen, but I couldn't bear to respond. Each message rang out an unmistakable plea for forgiveness, but I didn't know how to trust her anymore. After a few hours, I finally decided it was time to return home. When I opened the door, it was eerily quiet. Emily had obviously given me space, but as I stepped in, the stillness only heightened the feeling of betrayal. I wandered through the house, trying to catch whiffs of normalcy one last time. That night, I slept terribly. I could feel the shadows of doubt creep into my mind. The next day, I met with a close friend, Ben. He wasn't just a friend, but more of a brother figure. I shared everything with him, starting from Emily's odd behaviors to her outburst the night before. "Jake, she has to earn your trust back," he said thoughtfully. "Does that even matter?" I questioned, my soul weary as I slumped back into the chair. "Could things ever be the same again?" "I think they could, but only if you both want it," he replied, raising an eyebrow, giving me a glimmer of hope even amid the chaos. We spent hours talking through everything I was feeling, his calm voice simmering my unending thoughts. It was the kind of honest conversation every guy needs when the world seems like it's crumbling around him. The next day, I took a deep breath and decided to confront Emily again. My heart prodded me as I walked into the living room where she sat curled up on the couch. The tension was thick. A messed up past clashed with a possible future. "Can we talk?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Isn't it already obvious? I need you to give me the benefit of the doubt," she said, her mood noticeably softer. I exhaled, feeling like a punch bag one way or another. "I'm willing to listen, but I need more than just words. I need actions going forward." She nodded, her demeanor visibly shifting. It was time to unearth the depths of honesty. "I messed up, Jake. I let things go too far, and it was a mistake. Our marriage mattered the most, and I took it for granted. I thought Mike was just being kind, but it spiraled. I should have realized what I was risking. I have no excuses." Her words struck a chord within me. There was remorse in her tone, but I still had to navigate through the minefield of my own feelings. "Trust is rebuilt through transparency," I replied quietly. "You need to commit to being honest about everything, and I need to know you're no longer going to." "I won't, I promise," she interjected, desperation creeping into her voice. "Take me back, please. I'll fight for us." And just like that, something shifted yet again. I could see the genuine pleading in her eyes. Maybe this was the precipice, a chance not solely for forgiveness but also for growth. We agreed on talking, examining where we fell apart and learning to build the foundations again. But it wasn't easy. The next few weeks were a roller coaster. I found myself pulling back and observing her. There were days when I caught her off guard and could see that she was genuinely trying. Yet, there were moments when the shadow of her betrayal would rear its ugly head in my mind, dragging me down into doubts. Do I even deserve this? I would ask myself as the gnawing ache resurfaced with each painful memory. The first sudden event occurred one rainy afternoon while I was still wrestling my feelings. I had returned home early to catch her off guard, thinking that spontaneity might spark a new flame between us. I sauntered into the house, only to come across her whispering on the phone. Sure, this would have been a normal occurrence a few months earlier, but the moment shattered the fragile trust we were trying to rebuild. I stood still, waiting. "Everything is fine, babe, I promise," I heard her say softly. The abrupt warmth faded from my heart as nerves tangled. "Jake wouldn't know, he's focusing on work." Those words pierced through me, chilling me straight to my core. I took a step back, attempting to maintain composure, but my heart raced. "Emily," I called, stepping into the living room as if I were ready for battle. She quickly hung up and turned to me, a mixture of alarm and guilt lining her face. "Hey, I didn't expect you back so soon." "Who was that?" I demanded, my tone sharper than I intended. "No one important, I promise," she replied. The panic in her eyes told me more than her words did. She was lying. I had reached my limit. "I can't believe this. Just when I thought we were going somewhere, you're still hiding things from me." Angry tears brimmed in her eyes. "You don't understand. I was trying to be reassuring to a friend who's going through a tough time. I swear, Jake." "Then why were you hiding it from me?" I shot back. Standing there, I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, crushed between outrage and desperation. Eventually, Emily broke right in front of me, emotionally unraveling as she admitted her struggles dealing with our recent past. As she did, I realized how intricately our lives had become intertwined, inseparable yet fragile. Weeks rolled on after that, and we continued to work on our relationship. It was a heart-wrenching battle, but we started communicating better. She would share everything, even the minutiae. Small voices in our heads insisted things wouldn't work out, yet we managed to build something unique through those broken pieces. Then came the second sudden event that shook my world once more. Emily and I had just begun to feel some rhythm again, and I had even considered trusting hers afresh. One Monday, I received an unexpected phone call from a family member saying Mike had been in a serious car accident. I instantly felt unmoored, instinctively rushing to Emily. As I shared the news, I watched her crumble into the swirling sea of emotions. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she sobbed, eyes brimming with moisture as she reached for my hand. What if I had been part of ruining a life? Feeling her pain struck a chord. At that moment, I had to ease her troubled heart. "We'll be okay, Em. We can face this together," I reassured her, remarkably feeling both lost yet grounded through our shared vulnerability. Through it all, we faced external challenges. The world was uncharitable, yet it was amidst the ashes of betrayal, simultaneously shattered and raw, that we grew. In strange ways, this revealed a tightly woven tale of two people becoming whole again. Time continued to move forward, and while the road was jagged and dotted with doubt, we started learning to forgive each other. I had to understand that acceptance was not about letting go of the past, but instead acknowledging it and learning walking forward together. As I look back now, it's surreal how this all unfolded. I've learned that relationships are not just about laughter and sunny days. They are about confronting the storms and rebuilding with conviction. As hard as it was to navigate through that darkness, I'm grateful we took that chance to meet head-on. The journey isn't perfect, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel. It may still flicker sometimes, but we keep moving forward, living our life together, learning and growing with each day. To anyone out there reading this in a similar situation, remember, it's crucial to communicate openly. There might be moments when everything feels like it's collapsing, yet honesty and a willingness to face the truth can lead to reconstruction. In vulnerability, we often find strength. Trust isn't merely given. It must be earned with actions resembling commitment, honesty, and courage.